My name is Francis Dosoo. I'm a Scottish contemporary artist working with moving images, among other things. So I guess I don't have a very traditional route into art because I didn't study at all. I didn't study art, didn't study anything else. I was a DJ for just over 10 years. My route into art was really more through my own research especially into film and into music and basically into sort of historical media in general. I essentially started using the skills that I learned as a DJ to start making my own work as an artist. By that I mean mixing together disparate extracts of film and music to say something of my own. It normally starts through film, through engagement with film, sometimes with books as well. I will find or experience something watching a film that sort of gets me thinking, something I can't really explain very well or don't understand very well. And then I will explore that feeling or that thing that I don't understand. I do that quite often by using the film footage from the thing which has inspired me, with the thing that has given me this new thought. And then I'll slow the footage down, I'll play with it, distort it, cut it up in different ways. And through that, I've tried to explore this new thing I've sensed inside it. And from there, I just research also the ideas around it through critical writing and all that sort of stuff. Eventually, if I'm lucky, then there's an artwork at the end of it. So Portrait of Dorothy Gale started from interest in the film The Wiz, which is a 1978 reworking of a 1974 musical, which is a reworking of Frank Baum's Wizard of Oz, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the novel. Basically, this film was a big part of my childhood, and I guess I always had I said before that my process is a lot about investigating things that I feel in films that I don't really understand or I want to know more about. So I had a lot of interesting feelings, let's say, associated with this film as a child. So as an adult, I sort of revisited the film, and I became very focused on Diana Ross's portrayal of Dorothy, and particularly on her eyes and the way she communicated with her eyes. I was also at the same time researching a lot into silent film and the origin of the close-up, and I became interested in how the close-up allowed film to communicate things that were more intangible. Emotions are more intangible because theatre, let's say, we're far away from the stage, so we don't really see people's small facial expressions and small movements, this sort of thing. We're always seeing people, interacting together in a narrative, basically, and you hear their voices. But in film, you can do close-ups, which can just show people's faces without any other context. Before then, we can never see someone's face 30 foot high projected on a screen. This really sort of, according to my research, created or distinguished film as a medium, being able to get that close to people. So I guess I became interested in this idea that film could communicate intangible things that we can't communicate through words. And then I became interested in the sort of specific intangible things that Diana Ross was communicating in The Wiz, thinking of her as this sort of classic silent film actress. And the intangible world is actually the intangible world of cinema. I've tried to create an artwork using all found footage, some of it from The Wiz, which basically tries to create a dream of cinema, which allows the audience to see the intangible things that Dorothy can see. So I try to place the viewer inside Dorothy's eyes, or allow the viewer to see what Dorothy sees, or what I felt that Dorothy was seeing. Which is basically this intangible world, which is special and specific to cinema. The title is honestly just very literal in terms of I was trying to make a portrait of, as I've said, what I saw in this character Dorothy, played by Diana Ross. One of the films in the exhibition was originally called The Is, as a play on words of The Wiz, The Is, because this intangible thing I was talking about, I just called it The Is. But then later on, I decided to call it Portrait of Dorothy Gale, because really what I'm trying to show is this sort of thing which is embodied in this character, Dorothy. And I guess I also like the fact that it links to Picture of Dorian Gray as well, the DG thing, because that's something which is about the line between images and reality and how we find ourselves in between these things. Where do we find reality in images or in the real world? And so Portrait of Dorothy Gale, it's a portrait of Diana Ross, of Dorothy, of cinema, of ourselves, I guess, in some way.